Hey, what's up? Serpentine here, rounding up this week's news for the weekly roundup. This week we have H1Z1 releasing onto early access, GTA 5 specs revealed but also delayed, and Hotline Miami refused classification in Australia. One of the most hyped games for early 2015 released this week, Sony Online Entertainment's H1Z1, a zombie survival game similar to DayZ. The game officially entered early access on the 15th, but not before a 1-hour delay due to late bug fixing, but that's not where the problems stopped. Once the game was up on the Steam store, the game's servers took a massive hit as thousands of players tried connecting all at once. Almost a full 12 hours later, and the servers finally receiving a hardware upgrade, they were back up and running at full capacity. Unfortunately, once players were in and playing, an internet witch hunt began where players discovered a bug with paid-for airdrops dropping incorrectly and containing previously excluded items like guns and ammunition. SOE was then accused of pay-to-win tactics and lying to the players about the game. The drop issues have since been fixed, but weapons and ammunition continue to be available from them. Another year and another week of non-stop speedrunning from the guys over at Awesome Games done real quick. This year, new additions like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Transistor and Shovel Knight were added to the lineup of over 150 games. The event raised over $1.5 million for the Prevent Cancer donation, with $1.1 million of that coming from viewer donations and the rest from merchandise purchases. GTA 5 has been pushed back another 2 weeks to a March 24th release date, and while that might not be the greatest news, it does mean the PC should be getting a better port than GTA 4's. During the same blog post, the game's specs were revealed and it's looking pretty good for people with the low-end machines. Minimum specs will require a Nvidia 9800 NT or AMD HD 4870, which are fairly low-end cards and will run with almost any recent processor. The recommended requires a Nvidia 660 or AMD HD 7870, which tells me that there are going to be a bunch of graphics options available for the game. One place that will be taking a massive hit is your hard drive space, with a massive 65GB download. Battlefield Hardline has announced that an open beta phase is just around the corner, and while no date has been placed on the event, some details have been revealed. 2 new maps will be available to play on, as well as 2 new modes. Hotwire is the first and the original game mode of the 2, boasting extremely fast gameplay that relies on vehicle chases and combat. The other game mode available is an oldie but a goodie, Conquest mode, kinda like Capture the Flag but with 64 players. Visceral, the devs behind the game, have said the beta phase will still be taking player feedback to make changes to the game before its release. The Australian Classification Board is at it again, this time taking aim at the sequel to Hotline Miami. The game was denied a rating due to an implied rape scene early on in one of the game's cutscenes. Denaton, the studio behind the game, have since come out and said they will not be appealing the decision, nor will they be creating a censored version of the game. It was advised to Australians wanting to play the game to just pirate it, as there will most likely be no other way to access it legitimately. Heroes of the Storm has finally left technical alpha testing and has entered closed beta. This doesn't really mean it's any easy to get access to the game, well at least not yet, but the game did receive a new content update including a new hero, Thrall, as well as a new 3-laned map called Sky Temple. Ranked play has also been introduced, as well as a weekly sale starting for the in-game store. After a fantastic run of developing story-driven games for other companies' IP, Telltale Games has announced that they have a new game in the pipeline that will be an original IP for them. This news comes alongside with CEO Dan Connors stepping down to an advisory role, and Kevin Bruner, the co-founder and president of the company, taking over as the company's CEO. Nosgoth will be finalizing its closed beta phase on the 19th in preparation for an open beta commencing on the 21st. It will be available to download and play for free on Steam. The Dungeons & Dragons based MMO Neverwinter will be expanding to consoles, with a closed beta planned for the Xbox One from February 5th to February the 8th. That's it for this week's weekly roundup. Let me know what you think of this week's news, and I'll see you guys next time.